Pathmonk is the intelligent tool for website lead generation. With increasing online competition, over 98% of website visitors don't convert. The ability to successfully show your value proposition and support visitors in their buying journey separates you from the competition online. Pathmonk qualifies and converts leads on your website by figuring out where they are in the buying journey and influencing them in key decision moments with relevant micro experiences like case studies, intro videos, and much more. Stay relevant to your visitors and increase conversions by 50%. Add Pathmonk to your website in seconds. Let the AI do all the work and get access to 50% more qualified leads while you keep doing marketing and sales as usual. Check us on pathmonk.com. Welcome to today's episode. Let's talk about today's guest. We are Kunal from BallotReady, growth lead with them. How you doing today, Kunal?
Hey, Ernesto. Thanks so much for having me. I'm doing good.
It's great to have you on today's episode. Intriguing to learn a little bit more, and I'm sure our listeners who are tuning in today are intrigued as well. So let's give them what they're tuning in for. Kunal, in your own words, can you tell us a little bit more about what BallotReady is all about?
Yeah, absolutely excited to share about it today. We are BallotReady. Our website is ballotready.org if you're listening and want to check it out. At ballotready.org, we provide a free user nonpartisan platform where millions of people every single year go in to take a variety of different civic actions. So they can do things like get registered to vote, research when their next election will be, who will be on the ballot, what those candidates stand for, where and how they can vote, where they can run for office, all types of different things. And then on the B2B side, where we kind of do more of our traditional marketing, we license that platform and the underlying data out to a really wide variety of organizations, things like super PACs, for-profits, unions, and certainly we can get more into those customers. But really, we're just a sort of a solution for democracy, and our goal is to bring democracy through technology and data a little closer to people.
Definitely. I mean, in the way we're going, right, we got to get in technology into that. So definitely important that you guys are doing that. And well, so that way
Right.
our listeners can get a good understanding then. What would you say is a key problem you solve for clients?
Yeah, it's a fantastic question. The clients we work with are organizations who are looking to mobilize voters, inform voters, or help their members and constituents get engaged on certain issues or certain civic activities. So what's great about that problem, Ernesto, is that there's a wide variety of organizations who that might apply to, and then B, the challenges associated with that change every cycle, right? So we have this upcoming big election cycle in 2024. There'll be a number of different problems we'll need to solve on behalf of our customers to just make it easier for voters to get to the polls and get access to the polls. So I'll give you one example, Ernesto, of a really impactful partnership we had. In 2020, we worked with Snapchat, and we helped them roll out on Snapchat on the app a tool where all of Snapchat users could go into the app and see what they were eligible to run for in their neighborhood, what positions they were eligible to run for, how to run for it, so what the deadlines were, filing requirements. And through that partnership, we helped recruit over 30,000 new candidates to run for office in their local jurisdictions. So we worked with Snapchat, we sold them the data, we lent them our expertise. And so that's an example of a really powerful program where we see this unique problem. We need more candidates running for office. We get this sort of partnership and support from a big brand that has this wide reach, and then we're able to make a difference.
I would totally agree with you, right? I mean, the more people could get into those ballots, I think the better options there is out there. So great stuff from you guys there. So then, who are your clients there? Is there a certain vertical, like you mentioned Snapchat, but is there a certain vertical that you guys like to go after?
Yeah, absolutely. So for-profits and brands definitely are a key vertical for us. We're seeing a lot of brands get more involved come election time to not only help their own employees, but help their users, just get involved to vote in a nonpartisan way, of course. So brands are a really big target for us. A couple other of our key verticals would be unions. So we work with a number of labor unions. In particular, we assist labor unions with making endorsements for down ballot candidates. So we have a lot of successful programs with that and providing voter guides. Some other interesting ones, we work with super PACs. So that's sort of to help turn out people Again, we license out that platform to them. They put their own branding on it so that their members, their users trust it and use it to get informed to vote. And then a couple others, libraries, business alliances. The nice thing, Ernesto, and the way I approach it as a marketer is, to me, there's no organization that can't do something when it comes to civic engagement, whether it's helping their own employees, helping their members, helping their constituents. So that's both the challenge and the advantage, is that I want everyone to use this, but I have to obviously narrow it down to those who actually will. So.
Yeah, definitely. That's great that you have that mindset. Well, then, so how does somebody typically get in contact or find out about you? What would you say is your top client acquisition channel?
Yeah, absolutely. That would be email marketing. So really our outbound work, we send a lot of cold emails. We do a lot of work identifying targets, prospecting those targets, really making sure we're getting in touch with the right people, putting useful content in front of them. And so that is frankly how we generate most of our leads. Sort of secondary to that, and something I'm really excited about, is that we've really seen our content marketing take a big boost over the past year and a half. We've published quite a few things that have really gotten some traction, have helped build awareness of what it is we do, the data we provide, and have led to a lot of leads. So it's been kind of nice to see that outbound and that inbound work support each other and sort of grow alongside of each other. And so those would be our two main lead gen channels.
Okay, perfect. Great to hear that. And I am here on the website for our listeners. You could check them out at, well, the one I have is BallotReady.org. Would that be the correct one?
That would be. And then, there are a few different sites you can go to from there. But if you hit 4 organizations in the top right corner, you'll get to our product website where you can explore the products, read through some case studies as well, see how other customers have made use of them.
Oh, awesome. Well, guys, you could check him out there, as he mentioned. So what role would you say does the website play for or any lead acquisition?
Yeah, well, it plays a big role. As I'm sure your team at Pathmark knows as well as anyone, particularly for a SaaS company, the website is critical for facilitating leads, educating leads. You mentioned in your intro that over 98% of website leads often don't convert. And so it's really, I always am telling my manager, that difference between 0.5% conversion with this A/B test or this placement, it matters, and it really can make a big difference at scale. So it does play a big role. I've really enjoyed kind of getting into the nuts and bolts of the website, seeing what converts, seeing what doesn't. Um, I will say, with that said, Ernesto, like, for the way our model works, is that we're not the type of product which you're just going to go to the website, click buy, check out, and not hear from us again. We certainly are the type of organization who, we're going to take a demo with you. We want to build a relationship. We want to get an understanding of what challenges you want to solve, and really make sure we're tailoring the platform and the data we provide for that. And so there's I think, a limit to the extent to which the website can facilitate that. It's more about really generating those leads and getting them in the funnel.
Definitely. Great. For you guys to mention that as well. And well, let's switch gears a little bit, Kunal, and let's talk about you as a leader there with Ballot Ready, you being the growth lead. What are some key tasks you focus on your day-to-day work?
Yeah, for sure. It's a great question. One thing, Ernesto, that I try to make sure I keep in my day-to-day plan and my day-to-day work is just the hustle aspect, right? Like, I want to make sure every day, every week, that I'm setting goals, personal goals for myself, to make sure I'm reaching out to these leads. I'm getting a certain number of touches out. For me, like, my job is becoming more sort of generating the sort of big picture sprints, thinking about how we can put valuable content in front of our verticals. But one thing I don't want to lose sight of is you also just got to hustle every day to get those leads, to get what you're generating out in front of them. So, that's kind of one thing I've kind of just kept on my radar, is like, I got to make sure I'm still meeting my weekly goals. And that's, sort of, so one way I segment out my day is just make sure I have time to do emails, to do those LinkedIn touches. But yeah, other than that, what I kind of have really found myself doing more than anything is learning from our customers and learning from our leads of what it is they're getting out of us and how it is they got to us. and then really building up on that. And so making sure we're putting out valuable content that speaks to that and making sure we're pursuing the lead gen channels that are really converting. So it's kind of a combination day to day of those two.
I definitely would agree, right? I mean, the learning from customers at one point, right? We think the product is great, but there always could be some tweaks or learn what to do next. So definitely customers are the best. So at the end of the day, great stuff. Well, let's jump
You
to
know
our
what,
next section.
Ernesto,
No, let's talk. Let's it's a wrap. Well, yeah.
you actually did freeze a little bit in that last question. So or that your last response, you're a little frozen. So I just wanted to mention that to you.
Oh well, my editing team will if they see it, depending on the ways they'll just snip it. Okay, I'm getting my internet connection is unstable. Is it right if I go ahead and turn off my camera?
Absolutely.
Okay, awesome, great.
Hundreds. Yeah.
Yeah, I had it earlier issues as well, and I had to turn it off. So all right, perfect,
Yeah, no worries.
awesome, Kunal. Well, let's jump into our next section here, Kunal, which is our rapid fire question round. So, are you ready for that?
Cool. Let's do it.
Awesome. First off, Kunal, what is the last book that you read?
Yeah, the last book I read, actually not totally marketing related, is called Team of Rivals. And it's about how Abraham Lincoln, when he was elected a president, for his cabinet, he appointed all his political enemies, which was really a strange thing to do. Usually you appoint your friends. And it ended up being just this stroke of genius for him. So I think there's some marketing lessons there too, Ernesto.
All right, great read. So next up is what is one single thing that your company is focused on at the moment the most?
Yeah, I mean, 2024 is here, Ernesto. This year, this election, critical not only for our country but for our company. So for us, we're just trying to really drive engagement, drive awareness, and make sure we're just having the biggest impact that we can have. So, yeah, that one is pretty obvious in a way.
Oh, okay, awesome, great to hear that. Now, if there would be no boundaries in technology, what would be that one thing that you want to have fixed for your role as a marketer today?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, one thing we find with our tool is that when people use it or engage with it, they love it and they want to learn more about it and they want to share it with others and get their company using it. So if there was no boundary in technology, I would find a way for everyone not even to pitch to them, but to just use the tool one time. And that would be my big pitch. So.
All right, great stuff. Now, if there's one repetitive task that you could automate, what would that be?
Yeah, and actually automating repetitive tasks is a big part of what we're working on right now. I think the biggest part I am sort of struggling to automate and want to automate is really that handoff between a marketing qualified lead to a sales qualified lead. Right now there's kind of a manual process where I'm sort of evaluating the leads as they come through to see how qualified they are, and so figuring out a way to automate and get that repetitiveness out would be great.
Definitely. All right. Awesome to hear that. And well, lastly, you have already a lot of experience within the marketing world, but what is one piece of advice that you would give yourself if you were to restart your journey as a marketer today?
Yeah, I mean, when I started my journey, I didn't have a ton of background or training in marketing, so I really learned a lot of very fundamental things very early. Um, I think one of the biggest things I learned was just that persistence pays off. Give me a persistent marketer over a high budget marketer any day of the week, right? So when I started out, I didn't have much budget to work with, but sending that extra touch, even when you get a no, saying thank you so much for responding. If you change your mind, here's another piece of content. Just really taking advantage of every lead and being somewhat shameless in your persistence, especially when you think you have something of value to offer.
Definitely. All right. Awesome. Great to hear that from you guys, from you. Well, Kunal, thanks a lot for being on the show with us today. I do want to give you the last word. If someone forgets everything about the interview today, what is that one thing they should remember about your company?
Yeah, thanks for that question. I think the thing to remember is that there's more access and more change that can happen than you might think if you choose to get involved. So going to BallotReady.org, seeing what those options are, you might be surprised at different ways you can make an impact in your community. And if you're an organization with political goals, there are a lot of digital solutions out there. And so I just encourage you to check those out at BallotReady.org.
Definitely. Well, you guys heard it there from Kunal. You could always visit them at BallotReady.org. Kunal, thank you so much for being with us today on today's episode. To our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in and looking forward to our next episode at Pathmonk Presents. Thanks a lot, Kunal.
Thanks, Ernesto. That was fun.